Hey all, welcome back to the Fire and Water Cooking Podcast. I'm Darren, I'm your host, and today I have a couple of great guests. I have Chef AJ Schaller and Chef Gerard Bertholon from Cuisine Solutions and La Crea, and we're going to talk about International Sous Vide Day coming up this Tuesday, January 26th. All right, I'll be right back with the chefs.
Smoking, grilling, getting hot and hotter, sous vide and chilling from fire and water.
Hey all, I want to introduce you to a company I just started working with, Fresh Jack's Organic Spices out of Jacksonville, Florida. They're a small, family-run company that's fast-growing. I've tried a bunch of their different seasoning blends and spices, and I can tell you they're all fresh, all organic. None of them contain artificial flavors or sweeteners. None of them have anti-caking agents or preservatives. They all taste like they were just made for you yesterday. Check them out, guys. They're on Amazon in the link below. They have different sample packs, different blends. Like I said, they also have the individual seasonings and spices as well. Fresh Jack's Organic Spices. Check them out, guys. I love them. Welcome back to the Fire and Water Cooking Podcast. I am Darren. I am your host, of course, and I have some great guests today. I've had AJ on before, but Gerard, this is the first time you've been on. I have AJ Schaller and Gerard Bertholon. Did I say it right?
Yes, that sounds great. Bertholon.
And they are from Cuisine Solutions and CREA, CREA is the Culinary Research and Education Academy, which pretty much the masters of sous vide. They pretty much have perfected it and continue to teach it and have done some amazing things with sous vide. And I'm really glad to have them on. And we're going to talk a little bit about what CREA does, what Cuisine Solution does, and then what International Sous Vide Day is. And that's coming up on Tuesday, this Tuesday. And we're going to talk about that. And first, I'm going to introduce AJ, because ladies first. AJ Schaller. Who are you? What do you do?
Thank you, Darren. It's great to be back, and thanks for inviting us again. So I am the executive chef of CREA, as you were describing, and we are part of the Cuisine Solutions family. We're the division that does the education, consulting, and sort of high-level R&D. And we have trainings several times throughout the year. We also have them online. You can check them out on our website, lacrea.com. And we also do a good amount of consulting as well and travel all around. We have two locations, one in Washington, D.C., and then in Paris. That was established in 1991. And our chief scientist, Bruno Gousseau, is really the pioneer of the sous vide cooking technique and established CREA and then joined the Cuisine Solutions family to help with our production and R&D and all of the amazing products that we've done. And really, we're a top resource for chefs all around the world.
Well, I'm pulling up the website there. I had an issue still setting up my new computer here. So this is the CREA website. And anybody that's interested in finding out all that they offer and what they do, it's LaCrea, LECREA.com. And it's got all the information in there you could ever want on what CREA does and all the courses that they offer and all the consulting. They do a lot of consulting with restaurants and food, any big, industrial food providers, hospitals, hotels, all that. So, and what's Cuisine Solutions, Gerard, and who are you?
Well, thank you for having us. I'm Gerard Bertholon. I'm the CSO, Chief Strategy Officer, but I'm a chef. I work in 2 3-star Michelin in France. Work a little bit with sous vide in 1982 when we were upon the Orient Express, the train. I had the chance to work with Michel Ranvier, who worked at Trois Gros, and we were doing sous vide, and we were not doing the proper sous vide, if I can say. With what I know today, we made a lot of mistakes, but that's when I started. Then I saw all the top chefs in France, Robuchon, Gerard, working with sous vide. And I said, well, those are my mentors. Those are the people who are I'm looking to for inspiration, for direction. You see those top chefs. They're like when you're a young kid, they look like a half god, and they were all doing sous vide. So I said, well, if they are doing sous vide, I need to do sous vide to get better. It's easy, or you can change your recipe better than the other guy, but how can you be more precise, more consistent, more, to get to a higher level and keep this level? So I joined Cuisine Solution. I thought I will be here for 1 year and go back to New York. And this year is going to be 32 years with Cuisine Solution. And it's been a lot of fun because not only with Cuisine Solution, but with Crea, we train 48 3 stars. And so this part was fun as a chef also. And also as a Cuisine Solution, we are the world leader of producing sous vide. So now we have 6 plants around the world, 1 in France, 1 in Thailand, and 4 in the US. We just opened our last plant in San Antonio, Texas. And it's a little plant. It's 320,000 square feet. It's the biggest sous vide plant in the world. So sous vide makes a lot of sense for a lot of people from many reasons. We'll go back to that, but that's what Cuisine Solution is all about, cooking from protein, vegetable, sauces. And like our name saying, we have a solution with S. We can give a lot of solution for hotel, plane, and restaurant, and many other hospitality industries.
Well, and with this whole pandemic we've been going through for almost a year now, it seems like it's really jump-started a lot of requests and people needing, these type of pre-made, pre-packaged, high quality meals to where, especially like for delivery service or what have you, where you can't have, as much staff together and all that. So how has this whole pandemic affected both you guys' business here?
You started, Jane?
Sure. So, we, even before the pandemic hit, we were helping our clients with helping to increase, food safety and consistency, but at the same time, reducing labor and waste. And that is just exactly what sous vide does if you incorporate it into your menus in any of your, sort of restaurant concepts, hotels, any food service establishment, really. When the pandemic came along, those projects that we were working on, we discovered that people, of course, are more concerned about their food safety, but also it's really difficult to be able to retain staff. There's not as many opportunities to find skilled labor. And not only that, but because, most chefs shifted to doing meal delivery services, being able to take their menus and knowing that they can take a prepared, precisely cooked sous vide product. It has a longer shelf life, but also the products that are sous vide in advance are simply seasoned. So the chefs had more of an opportunity to create their own customization, really make it theirs. And it just all tied together, and everybody was looking for these solutions. And good examples of projects that we had started on were, some hotel groups. And then also we had already started working with Taffer's Tavern, which opened in Alpharetta, Georgia this year. And the safe dining system that they have set up really fell in line with what everybody was looking for as a solution. So when you incorporate sous vide into the menu, not only do you, have a chance to operate your kitchens with limited staff, but also you have a lot of room for flexibility, creativity. And then that the product that you have, the center of the plate item, if it is a sous vide product, it always is going to be prepared and precisely cooked in advance to the exact juiciness and tenderness and texture that you're looking for. And it's safe, of course, because it stays in the pouch for the entire process. So it's fully pasteurized. You don't have to worry about any other cross-contamination. There's minimal touching. And then also the menu is based off of essentially having fully cooked, precisely cooked sous vide product without having raw material in the kitchen. So there's less of a chance of cross-contamination in that sense as well. And then no matter how long it takes to prepare the food sous vide, I mean, if you have a product that has a lot of collagen and connective tissue that you need to break down, it can take several hours, even days. And then other products that are leaner, it doesn't take as long. So regardless of how long it takes the sous vide process, we take that labor and we prepare it for you. We're like the commis, if you will. And then when you receive it at the store level, all you have to do is determine what the recipe is for pickup. And we found that all of the menus that we've been working on lately, whether it was for Taffer's or the DAC kitchen in New York, it's 4 minutes or less, average of like 2.5 minutes pickup. So regardless of what the product is, with the type of service that we would recommend, it really helps speed that up, which is very helpful for delivery consistency, and then making sure that, of course, it's a very safe and minimally touched product.
Now, I want people to understand that these aren't their typical frozen dinners or boil and bag stuff that you see in your supermarket, correct?
Yeah,
absolutely.
We have to look at market too differently. Of course, it's a high quality product. We cannot. We hear chefs talking, oh, I use the best product available or something. We have no choice. Everybody who worked with sous vide before will realize that it enhances all the flavor in the bag. So if you put a good product, you're going to have an outstanding product. But if you put an item like shrimp who are not that fresh, when you open the bag, it's going to stink. So we have to take the best product available to make it amazing. And looking at retail, people are more looking for meals. So we do lamb shank with a sauce, also buco with a sauce. But to go back to the point that AJ brought, for the hotel, we want them to keep the creativity, and that's very important in restaurant, in hotel, and stadium, because we do a lot of things in stadium and casinos, even in the airline and first class only. We try, instead of having a raw product, we have a protein or product, but very, very simple, salt, pepper. We try to just have a product with perfectly cooked, right texture, right colors, and just bring that to the chef. We are the line cook. And that has been a helping us to succeed, because when I start 32 years, I would have the chef like that, and they didn't know about sous vide and say, really, you want me to serve food in a bag to my customers? They didn't know about it. So it's been a long journey where we had to educate the customer, and then show them that the top chef in the world were using this technique because it was much more precise and much more consistent. And that's how we grow. When I started, we were 5. I was a chef. We had a little lab kitchen, and I was setting up all the new recipes. 6 months later, we opened the plant, and now just in the US, we're over 1,500 employees. But the growth has been, in America, if you have a good concept or something, either you grow or you die. And people are looking at our product, and it's a true tools to help us deliver a great product and to bring a great experience to our customers. So, when they see us coming, they're like, oh, are they taking my job or something like that? And when they realize and when they start working on it, it's like, where's the sous vide? How come the distributor didn't bring in time? They see it. They see us as like I said, as somebody to help them, not to remove them. And before COVID, it was a huge challenge for all our customers to find labor, because the business was booming everywhere, and people were, couldn't find enough staff and qualified staff. And working in the kitchen is long hours, holidays. I'm not talking about home cook, because mainly what we sell for cuisine solution is for the hotel, restaurant, so forth. And we were already a great tools. And now during COVID, you don't want to bring, usually you have small kitchen, you have 5, 6 people in the kitchen, shoulder to shoulder. You cannot do that. You have to make sure, for the safety of your staff, So bring some of those items. You can do the same amount of cover with 3 people, and before you needed to have 6 of them.
Yeah, and to me, I don't currently work in the restaurant business, but I did when I was younger, so I kind of understand what you were talking about dealing with when you got the chefs that kind of poo-pooed it in the beginning, but now they look at it to go, what is the most that you contribute to that meal, as the chef? It is that seasoning at the end, the sauce that you put on it, the presentation, the plating. It's not really the cooking part, the initial cooking part. So if you can take that step out and just, focus on what you're really, really good at and what, is going to separate you from everybody else, it just makes sense. And since, with sous vide, you can cook it to that perfect temperature and have a perfect product, and you're using the better quality ingredients, why wouldn't you do that? The most expense in a restaurant is food cost and labor. So if you can chop those 2 things down and still have an excellent product, I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't do it.
and sometimes it's not about, depending on what you want to achieve. You cannot find people, or are you trying to raise the bar in your restaurant and do a better product? So it's readjusting, keeping the same labor, but refocusing the labor on a different place. So instead of braising and cooking 5, 6 things at a time and just putting something on the plate fast, now you can finish it and spend more time, because today everything has to be Instagrammable. Everybody take pictures, everything. So part of the success of a restaurant, you have to have beautiful picture, because you have thousands of people who think they are food journalists or something. You have to deliver great quality. You have to deliver a beautiful plate. You have so many new things. The way a restaurant has to manage itself to grow has nothing to do with the same thing 20 years ago, where everybody will read the Washington Post and New York Times, who's the best restaurant. So now you have to really, really, raise your game and be consistent and bring beautiful plate to your customer. So you can keep the same stuff, but put them more about finishing touch, being perfect, all of that. And it's another tool. There's so many solutions on sous vide. It's not about reduction of staff, or sometimes you don't have enough space, or sometimes like Taffer's Tavern, the goal was to build a kitchen without hood or anything like that, having product already. I mean, you cut the hood in a kitchen, you save $150,000 or $200,000. So when you go to open your restaurant, you're like, wow, I can put this money in the front. I can do so many different things. So sous vide can bring you so many different solutions.
Definitely. And the Instagram, Facebook advertising that restaurants get for free is a big thing today.
Yeah.
So, I mean, so if that plate comes out looking beautiful and somebody snaps a picture on their phone, sends it out to, 150 different people, they get more business in.
Yeah,
so
you have thousands of PR people working for you.
Exactly. I'm guilty. I do it all the time. So,
well, we like to share it. We all do it. It's part of our new way of communicating with our friends, with everybody. Might have a little ego in it too, know. And look what I'm eating. Look where I am. Look, what
Exactly.
part of the world I am.
Exactly.
So it's fun, and it's not here to. It's here to stay. So really, the restaurant business have to adapt and see what the best tool they have to deliver what the new customer and the younger customer are looking for.
Yeah, technology has changed all industries and the way we do a lot of things, that's for sure. So speaking of that, so the CS DAC, let's talk about that. Now, this is something that you guys have rolled out here in the last 6 months or so. Is that?
Oh, less than that. We started 3 weeks ago.
Oh, 3 weeks ago. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about what this is. And I know you're working with what's the name of that
Pret à manger.
Yeah.
We opened our first kitchen inside of Pret à manger. The goal is to use an existing location, and most of the restaurants have kitchen. Plus now is even more than ever. They have enough space to do food for their restaurant, but they don't have to stay to only one type of kitchen. If you're a French restaurant, you can still have somebody in the back working and doing a dark kitchen or ghost kitchen, whatever you want to call it. Chipotle call it a digital kitchen. We call it a dark kitchen because it's a dark assembled kitchen. Many chefs who have created those dark or ghost kitchen still cook everything from scratch. Mm-hmm. Our goal was to, not to open the dark and manage the dark kitchen, but is to show also that big corporation or smaller restaurant with our item, they can create 4 or 5. Here we have 5 different or 6 different concepts in one restaurant, plus Pret a Manger is still doing their food. So really, in a tiny kitchen, you have 7 types of food. And when Pret a Manger has some of the best location in New York, you're only 5 minutes away, 10 minutes away from your customer. So the integrity of the food is going to be great when you arrive to the customer. It's not going to be barely warm, or you have to repop it in the oven or something like that. But the assembled part of it, it's also a solution. If you cook everything from scratch, it's a nightmare. You take an ossobuco and you need 20 ingredients between the carrot, between everything. And imagine now you have 6 concepts. You have 40 dishes. And then what you need a truckload of ingredients in the backyard, in the back of your restaurant. It's impossible to manage. And then you have waste. You have so many different things. And here's the same thing. We use the same chicken in the same 6 concepts. We just top it, we glaze it, we do a different sauce, different rating, because going back to sous vide, it's not, when I started, we had to read in a bag. Oh, no, everybody has to read in a bag. Today, our customer, 90% of the product is rated outside of a bag in a turbo chef, because it can be ready in 2 minutes. It's seared. You have a mixture of oven, flow. You have some microwave, so you can have beautiful crispy product. You can put in a fryer. People are like, oh, fryer is going to be so greasy. I said, no, the product is already cooked. So when you put in a fryer, you just creep outside. The protein already sealed. There's no fat going inside of the product. You put in the grill, you put in a broiler. You have so many different ways. On top of it is ready to eat. So you open the bag, you slice it, you make it in salad, you make it in sandwiches. It's 100% safe. It's fully pasteurized. So it's safer than a product you cook yourself in your kitchen, because through the pasteurization, we have destroyed all the vegetative of bacteria. So you cannot find a safer product. Well, you can buy canned food, but you know the quality of canned food. Right. So really, it's putting the safety and the quality inside of a pouch, and really, if it's John or Paul or whatever, you always have the same quality. You cannot have the same chef cooking the same dish. But the dark kitchen can be. We have 6 concepts here we launched, but we have more than 11 concepts that we have developed with our team, and we have over 35 chefs, people who work at Daniel Boulud, like AJ, 11 years at Daniel Boulud. We have a chef who is really in charge of the DAC project. Sean worked 9 years with Jose Andres. He opened 6 restaurants for Jose. We have some other chefs who work at El Bulli. We have been able to create a team of chefs who are amazing, and creating some of using our sous vide product and creating a amazing taste, amazing presentation. And as you can see, we have people from South America. We have people from Europe. We have 2 chefs from India. Dale is focusing Italian food. So we have put together a large amount of chefs who all have different background. They grew up different part of the world. You can give somebody a French recipe or Indian recipe, they'll get it. Okay. But then when you ask Arjun or Bhaskar to develop our Indian sauce or something like that, they grew up with it. Yes, they can look in the recipe, but they're like, we need more of this spice, we need that. They'll nail it. That's something you cannot explain. It's more than food is more than a recipe. It's all those details. So we are with this group of chefs, we have been able to create an amazing product, and that's been a big part of the growth. Our CEO and our chairman says, we are a chef-driven company. They come to test us, but they cannot even approve product. Only the chef can approve the product. They come and say, test the food. What do you think? But really, it's all about the chef, and we always raise the bar to try to bring the best product available. And those products, that's what we bring now to the DAC. We have so many products, and why not deliver directly to the home? And the goal with Pret à Manger is to first New York, then Philadelphia and Washington, and the big one is London. They have over 500 stores, so we can be within very close proximity to all the customer. It's easy to train people because most of the products are, fully cooked. You have fresh herb, you have few items to add to it, but we think it's going to be a new way. And people being stuck at home, they get used to order different place, different restaurant, and eat at the comfort of their home. It's something who grew a lot during COVID, and it's not something was going to go away. Yes, people are going to be socializing in restaurant because it's fun. I want to go back to a restaurant, but sometimes you're tired, but you still want good food, and you want to place your phone call, and you don't want to wait 45 minutes or 1 hour to get your food because you're hungry. So with DAC, like AJ said, like we do at Taffer, most of the product can be ready within less than 4 minutes. By the time we pack them, within 5 minutes, it's done. Whatever we use, system of Uber Eats or so forth, we can have the food within 15, 20 minutes to your home. So it's going to be it's going to be disturbing the delivery system, and everybody can enjoy great food at home.
So I want to make sure everybody understands what you're saying, because I know it as Pret a Manager. Because when I'm up in New York City, that's what you see all over. It's Pret a Managers, those little, little restaurants that you go into and get your salad and sandwich, and they're always packed. So, and they're convenient because they're everywhere in New York City and Manhattan. So.
That's exactly it. Pret à Manger just means ready to eat.
Yeah, but I always call it Pret a Managers.
and they have great location, and we approach them because their business is all about people. They are right there in the bottom of a huge building. People come down for lunch. They might eat 4 or 5 times a week in the Pret à Manger. They'll grab their breakfast in the morning, come back to grab a salad, a warm sandwich, or soup or stew, and their business is pretty light in the evening. And now, most people are working from home, so their business is it's way down. So we thought the opportunity. They have the kitchen, they have the location. They were the perfect partner to launch this program. And when the CEO from Pret tells the product and saw what we are trying to do, it's like, I'm on board. When do you want to start? When? He wanted to start like right away.
Yeah.
So we need to really refine everything, train your staff, because we're using Pret à Manger staff. We have some of our chefs who are there to coach and to teach, but the goal is to have them do the product, because we're not going to leave one of our chefs in all their kitchen. And the simplicity of way to reheat a product or assemble it, that's duplicable pretty easy everywhere around the world in any kind of concept. We have already some other company who wants to do different concept. It's endless the way, how many concepts we can create with our product.
Yeah, definitely.
Game changing.
Hey, I want to take a second and talk about Inkbird's brand new instant read thermometer, the IHT1S. This thing has a lot of great high-end features at a very affordable price. It is 100% waterproof with an IP67 rating, 2 to 3 second ultra-fast response time, backlit, fully rechargeable, no batteries to replace. This thing has got all the high-end features that you would want in an instant read thermometer. Very durable. So check it out, guys. Check out the Inkbird IHT1S instant read thermometer. I think you're going to love it. It'll be your go-to instant read from now on. And now back to the Fire and Water Cooking podcast. Now, AJ, let's, Gerard's been talking a lot.
I'm known for that.
No, I love Gerard. I'm just sitting here and smiling and nodding. I just couldn't agree with everything more. I want to add really quick to what Gerard was saying about the team of chefs that we have, because maybe one day I'll have the same amount of experience in the company as Gerard does. But one of the major reasons why it seemed like such a great idea to join the family was because I could see there was dozens of chefs that had this varied experience and really awesome training with top chefs. And it really sets, the company apart, I would say.
So you wear two hats, right? So you work over at Cuisine Solutions and then you're teaching classes over at Crea. Do you both do that, or is it strictly Gerard, you do Cuisine Solutions, and then AJ, you kind of work both Crea and Cuisine, or do you both do everything?
Well, I mean, it's all a collaboration for sure. But I'm directing the Crea department in DC, and Gerard is our leader for all of the departments that the chefs run in Cuisine Solutions worldwide. So do you have one day you do Crea and the next day you're on Cuisine Solutions, or?
Well, AJ is in charge of Crea, all the chef and the scientists, but our main role is Crea, but sometimes we have really VIP customer where we need her and her team to help out, because we have some people who are traveling. We send chef all over, not just in the US but the world. Sometimes I could be out with 3 or 4 chefs, and we have a workshop with United Airlines in Frankfurt or different part of the world. So, we all help each other. But when it's more calm, AJ is really focusing on giving class, the consulting with our team. And our team is about, we have a team of R&D chef who are developing recipes. Somebody will come and say, hey, listen, I really want to have an octopus on my menu. That's an hotel chain who asked us that. The chef said, I don't want to see my customer coming to sleep in my hotel and then looking at the menu and have a club sandwich and something like, no, that's not what we want. We're going out. I said, I want them to feel like, oh, look, they have octopus on the menu. Oh, they must have a good chef here. So he said, I want to put an octopus on all my hotel, and he's the same chef who asked us, I want something, a brisket, a great, and we create a Wagyu brisket for him. So we have a team who create, new dishes, a creative chef in Alexandria in our plant. And then we have another group who are more about innovation, about trying to launching new concept, new way. That's how we started to slice beef. We slice beef and chicken raw, and then we cook in a bag, and we patent that, because usually it's not possible. Usually you cook the meat, you slice it, and then you repack it. We put this process. So it's about innovation. So we have a group of chefs. We have a culinary division who do workshop when people come and creating recipe. Hey, I want to grab and go menu, and they come for the first time. So we'll do a 15-course lunch. They stuff like a goose when they leave.
Can I get in on that?
Yes, you're more than welcome to come, and you'll see. I said, don't eat breakfast, don't. And then you say, well, I can't even dinner. I ate so many food, because we call that a capability presentation. We want to show them chicken, lamb, different. So we want to show so many different items. At Cuisine Solution, we have over 200 items. So of course you cannot test that in the first time. You have to come back. But we have a group of chefs who are really have their work. And then when AJ say, hey, can I have 2 chefs? Because we have our chef, but we need to go faster, because they want to open the restaurant right away. They want this project to be finished at this time. So of course we all help each other. Like AJ said, we are a big family.
Yeah, I know that AJ, you had a lot to do with Taffers, correct?
Yes, it's been over a year since we started collaborating with them at this point. Of course, like most other businesses, there was like a bit of delays during the pandemic, but John Taffer came to visit the office through our connection with FranceSmart, and just was blown away by what was possible with the Sous Vide products. He experienced the presentation, as Gerard mentioned, our capabilities presentation. So I'm sure it was quite full after that visit, and then also had a taste of what Crea does, because our incubator kitchen is in the building, and whenever we have guests, we like to show them what's next in sous vide, what we can do with training and consulting. And it just made sense. So we stepped in as essentially the chef for the group. Everything from the kitchen design to the food safety management system to developing the entire menu. I remember the menu started at, I would say, over like 120 ideas. And then we whittled it down to, the menu as it is right now, which is still pretty big. But as Gerard was mentioning, when you have these products that just have the final finishing touch, like in the hands of the cooks, like all of the customization and things that really make it, craveable, luxurious, like add the extra elements. So yeah, we train the staff. The first location opened in Alpharetta this year, and they're looking to grow very quickly. So we all help each other out for sure. Another thing that we focus on too in Crea is kitchens of the future, we would say, and literally like not one piece of paper in the kitchen anywhere, everything digital. We have the ability in our incubator kitchen to also develop the recipes and techniques on the actual rapid cook equipment that's going to be in the kitchen. So whether it was Taffers or CS Stack, Dark Assembly Kitchen, some other projects that we're working on. So, during that phase where operators were kind of shifting their focus into how they could move into delivery and kind of cope with the challenges that the pandemic kind of brought to us, we saw just an influx of interest and people needing resources and guidance, really. So
Yeah, definitely. I can see it growing even more, even after this whole pandemic goes away, because it just makes sense to, like you said, Gerard, if you don't have to have the hood system in a restaurant, that saves you so much money when you're building a new restaurant, and just expensive having to maintain it and get it inspected and all this stuff. I mean, it's just amazing what can be done now, where you don't need half the equipment that you would normally need to run a restaurant and the labor. So definitely can see.
And the success of a restaurant, we say, is location, location, location.
Right.
If by any chance you choose a wrong location for whatever reason, you back up a truck, you load everything in it, and you have a room completely empty.
Right.
You don't have to leave everything behind and say, okay, now I'm bankrupt, and now you do that, and then you find a new location, and it's quite amazing.
The new opportunities were not just for professionals, the type of chefs or groups that would visit Cuisine Solutions or Crea. We just saw a huge increase in interest in sous vide cooking at home. I mean, it's already very popular. Like I would say, like around 2010 to 12, like it was just blew up all over, social media. A lot of books were published, a lot of websites, a lot of new circulators coming out, really opening up the opportunity for people to cook sous vide at home. And with that sort of change in interest in home cooking, or as I would call it, sous vide enthusiasts, because the home cooks that are doing sous vide, they tend to be like a little bit more into the details.
Crazy.
Yeah. No, maybe not crazy, but just like pretty invested in it, right? Like you want to learn, and you also want to learn how to do things safely and properly. And so we saw like an increase in our online training as well, because that's ability to see what you would take in our in-person 3-day course, but in the comfort of your own home and at your own pace. And then also things like this, right? Collaborating with you, Darren. And, we met through Dave from Polyscience, and, we had the opportunity to have some fun during the International Sous Vide Association summits. And then, of course, leading into International Sous Vide Day this week, it's just the ability and people are working from home now, right? So their schedules are opening up. They have a little bit more time to, learn and attend digital events and webinars and things like that. So, our connection and like web and network within the sous vide enthusiast community has grown a lot as well.
Yeah, I'm one of those guys that I always want to know the why and the how, not just show me and I'll repeat it. I like to understand why things work, why things are the way they are. And I think the people like me and Jason and Mike and from the International Sous Vide Association, that's what we thrive on is, teach me, but also explain to me why. Don't just say, well, you have just do it this way, and then don't worry about the why and the how. I love to dive deep into it. And then I like to take it and simplify it for people that are trying to learn, because you can't just go, I see it all the time in the Facebook groups. Go read the Baldwin book. Well, the Baldwin book is, not really for a beginner. There's a lot of words, a lot of things that he does in there that people get their eyes crossed and they give up on it. So I try to kind of, I don't want to say dumb it down. I try to simplify it so people can understand it and then take baby steps and then get more and more as they go along. Because when I first looked at it, my eyes crossed a little bit, but then it made me want to dive deep into it. But a lot of people, they get scared of it. They'll try. I see too many people online go, I tried using sous vide to cook a steak once and it didn't turn out good, so I gave up. And it's like, you can't do that with any kind of cooking method. Even, I did a lot of barbecue early on in my life, and with barbecue, you can't even just go, I tried to cook a brisket and it turned out bad, so I'm never going to do it again. I mean, because it's, sophisticated. You got to do it a certain way, and it all depends on the meat. So you got to keep going at it and practicing and learning more. You can't just give up at one time. So let's talk about International Sous Vide Day, because I want to get that in before we run out of time. I know you guys got some stuff going on today. So International Sous Vide Day is on this coming Tuesday. And what do you guys got going on?
Jam-packed day full of sous vide. A lot of guest stars from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. We've got just a roster of really great, people that you can watch. We've got chefs from Thailand. We have Chef Gerard is doing a segment. Maybe Gerard, you want to talk about that with our friends within the hotel groups?
Well, we try to touch any part of the industry at home. Who's using sous vide, what kind of segment. So we're going to be starting at 8 a.m. with the International Sous Vide Association, and it's going to be a podcast worldwide with Del Prentice from Australia, with York from Denmark, from Canada, US, and then we have 4 chefs, one from Thailand, one from France, one a lady from the US, and one from Dubai. They have a 30 minutes recipe, so you can learn a new recipe from somebody around the world. We have Daniel Boulou and Kyle Connaughton and Grace Ramirez talking about celebrity chef, how they react during COVID and how sous vide helped them in their career when they start. Daniel has been, it was one of the first training we did with him and his team when we started in the US. So you have a lot of Kyle Connaughton. Bruno and I went to the Fat Duck in London, and Kyle, he has single thread in Sonoma. He has a 3-star Michelin. And when I met Kyle, was at the Fat Duck, and he was the head of the research and development, creating all the new dishes, looking at technique. Imagine a great job what it is. You don't have to send food. You just research all day long. So he's an amazing chef, and he has a lot of good point to bring about what Sous Vide bring to a restaurant and the kitchen. We have people like, we have the CEO from Panera. We, as Cuisine Solution, we sell all their premium turkey, beef. So how a sous vide item, what can bring to a 2,800 restaurant chain, 2,800 stores. Myself, I invited some chefs that I've been working for many, many years. Mark Erler from Hilton, the VP of Culinary, Brad Nelson, Olivier Gopin. So we talk about the, how do they react during the COVID, but also when do they start it? Because they're all chefs and they have different experience. It's going to be so much fun, and it's free. So no reservation. And then if you cannot see everything, you have 60 days to watch everything if you register. But it's going to be a great celebration.
Yep. One of the great highlights too is, of course, International Sous Vide Day is the birthday of Dr. Bruno Guisseau, who founded Crea and really has been the resource for everybody regarding sous vide. So there's a really great feature on Bruno, the story of his life's work, and then also a sneak peek into Crea, like the day-to-days, a taste of what we do during our training, and then an introduction to the whole Crea team as well between the U.S. and France.
I think it's going to be very, very informative of people, because I know 90% of the people out there really don't understand where sous vide fits, or where it came from, and how it works. And I think it's going to be great. If they go to internationalsousvideday.com, they can register, and it's free, like Gerard said, and you can watch it up to 60 days. There's going to be so much content on there. And I know for a fact that even me, I really didn't understand how big, just with Cuisine Solutions, how much you guys do, around the country, and with different restaurants and hotels and airlines and all that. That's one question I want to. Are you going to bring up any of this stuff? How do you do all that stuff? The mass, massive stuff that you do with the let's just take for example the sous vide egg bites from Starbucks. That's a Cuisine Solutions product. How do you make all those things?
We make a lot of it. We have 7 lines of egg bite, and we producing. Starbucks has close to 15,000 coffee stores, and they sell between 15 to 20 a day. Imagine the volume that we have to do every day. And then you can find them also at Trader Joe. We have a different flavor, of course, not the same flavor than Starbucks, under the Trader Joe label. We have them under our label at Costco. So those volume, those are more like different recipes. But to go back, how we achieve the volume, we try to create item we know will cross channel. If you have an airline cut chicken, well, that's perfect for first class, but it's perfect for banqueting, it's perfect for restaurant, it's perfect for a lot of people. We don't have to create a recipe. Like in the old time when we started in France, we had Ville Blanquette, beef bourguignon. Oh, is my beef bourguignon better than yours? Whatever. Here, we create an ingredient who can go everywhere. So we get volume, we get better price, we get more consistency, people paying more attention about bringing us the best product available because we're doing such a big volume, and we are pretty demanding. So it's all those components together who allow us to grow so much faster. Today, for the DAC, we create a couple items like or we brought back some items that we used to do who were amazing, like we had a recipe with the barbecue ribs with a tamarind glaze. That's so good. And so we stopped doing that, 10 years ago, said we have to bring it back, but 90% of the DAC menu, it's already done. So we're just adding volume. Then when we had volume, then we had to add plants. That's why we just opened a couple months ago our 350,000 square feet plant in San Antonio, and our next expansion, we're going to be doing a joint venture with Emirates, and we're going to open in Dubai the first halal sous vide plant in the world. So, and we have some other plants. So sous vide it's really here to stay. It makes sense. You know, in the old time, people used to bring half a cow in the kitchen. They had butcher, they had something. I mean, everything comes portion control. And now on top of it, with us, not only is portion control, but it's already fully cooked. You know, the way we used to work in any kind of kitchen, the way we work today is completely different, and it will change. We still need to train some of our staff on items that the industry is not working. You know, we don't do veal shop or something like that. So the chef still have time to teach his staff. We were one of the chefs when we do those workshops. We had about 20 executive chefs, and we are one of our hotel partners. And one of the chefs said, "Well, how are we going to teach the next generation how to cook?" And the chef said, "Well, guys, I want you to be honest. When was the last time in the last 3 months, or even 6 months, you took 30 minutes or 1 hour to teach your cooks something new and something special, not something you put on the menu? Raise your hand." And it was 20 executive chefs, not one. So he said, "Now I want you to use Cuisine Solution, and I want you to buy product. And if so, your GM said, 'Why are you spending this money?' Is to teach your chef." He said, "Well, you know, the corporate chef told me to do it." And teach them, take the time, because right now they don't have time. Everybody's busy. We don't have enough time. Nobody's taking the time. So if you have those tools of sous vide to help you out, you should have time now to teach your team.
How big are those tanks that you have in the? I think that's what I'm trying to get my mind around. You know, because you know, at home, you know, I got a small one, I got a big one, but how big of a tank do I need, and how big of a circulator? I'm sure they're big industrial, you know, custom made things.
Yeah, so they can go to 8 to 10,000 gallon.
Wow.
So you can cook up to whatever 3,000-4,000 portion depending on the size. If it's a 72 hours, and you put less in the basket, but if it's a multi-pack with a 3.5 ounce chicken, then you can cook a lot of product in way. And we have agitation all the time. We have a thermometer at the bottom and top, and then we have huge tank of water. People think we're doing beer, or we have, you know, big silo, like a silo of flour, and then there in each of those silo you have one hot water, could be, you know, close to 200 degrees. One is room temperature, and one is really cold to like 33 degrees. And the computer, whatever recipe we put, take the temperature, because you have variation of temperature. You know, if we shoot for the product to be, one of them could be at 70. If we use a lot of them, temperature might go down or might go up. So the computer take the temperature, and then when the temperature arrives, it's exactly, if I ask 138, it comes at 138. But if you cook at home, what you do, you have your temperature, you put your product, and you see your thermometer going down, because your cold meat or your cold fish or your vegetable act like ice cube. It's going to chill your water, and then it takes time to come back. So, okay, you have boiling water, you pour it, you do that. For us, when it goes down 1 degree, the computer put more water. So the consistency is always the same. As soon as we put the product, then we put the water comes in, and it's always in agitation, because agitation is very important. So every single portion has the same temperature all over. And we can cook, we look at our curve, because we print it out because we are USDA and FDA, and we have to keep that in our record. We look what we call the curve of temperature, time and temperature. You see the product going up, so, and going Great and line. Never moving. And the temperature of what we call ambient temperature of the water, we can control, and we can see it's perfect all the time. And then it's not Joe or Bill or something. You put recipe 55 for this item, right. Enter, and it's going to be the same. So the consistency, you know, people said, "Oh, your product are so great. That's your forte." I'm like, it's one of our forte, but for me as a chef, number one is consistency. You don't want to bring your friend to a restaurant and say, oh, look, that's my favorite restaurant. And people are like, oh, I might have overcooked chicken or something. Oh, that's your favorite?
Yeah.
Oh, no, usually it's better. It's embarrassing. And
the wrong line cook was there today.
What?
But I'd really love to take a tour of the factory one day and just see those big sous vide circulator things.
We can arrange that after COVID. Right now, even me, we don't let anybody in a plant. So anybody who doesn't have to be part of the production, we are very, very strict about safety because of COVID right now. And we were lucky. People said, how did you adapt? And I'm like, well, it was pretty easy because people wash their hand, they remove their watch, they're covered completely head, they're completely covered. They just have the eyes coming out. We were 90% ready.
We were always wearing face masks.
Right.
Face mask, everything. We were, okay, now we take temperature outside of the plant. We add a couple of things, but we were, I don't want to say smooth because it's never smooth, but we were ready for COVID.
Yeah. Didn't take you long to do those extra couple steps, I'm sure. So going back to International Sous Vide Day, there's going to be a lot going on. I don't know. I'm probably going to be glued to my computer all day that day. So, AJ, what do you got planned? Are you doing a presentation yourself or?
Yeah, we are. We've got a 30-minute sort of behind the scenes video on Crea. So we've got some great material from our entire team about the real sort of core principles of the sous vide fundamental trainings that we do, and a little bit of the history on sous vide, short interviews with all of our staff between France and the US, and then just kind of a peek into what we're doing with consulting as well, and what we see as the future of sous vide. And then Bruno's video, of course, he speaks about that a lot as well. One thing that we touch on too is another second level training that we've started to do called extraction, flavor fixation, and cryoconcentration, which I think you may have heard a little bit about, or I spoke about it before, but it's really the next wave of training that we're doing. And similar to sous vide, it's really starting with top chefs. So we don't necessarily, we're working towards creating cryoconcentration, but the key is to use products that might be discarded or considered food waste, trimmings of vegetables, or focusing on the functional properties of liquids. But it all starts with sous vide and the precise temperature cooking. So you get your core knowledge there, and then we're starting to train on those techniques. So it's really going to be a game changer.
Yeah, I've seen some of that, and it makes you really go, oh man, this thing can really do more than just cook a good steak. So the International Sous Vide Day events, there's something there for everybody: the home cook, the professional chef, right, the occasional dabbler, and all that. So to me, like I said, I can't wait to dive into it. Just like with the International Sous Vide Association, we kind of target everybody. We kind of, because there's people like me and Jason that are not professional chefs. We're home cooks, but we love to dive into this stuff and teach other people and kind of show people that you don't have to be a professional chef to use these concepts and methods and understand them and create great food for your home, even if it's just mixing it with barbecue and producing a better end product there, or the convenience of being able to have it cooked later and then finish it. And just there's so many different things that you can do with a sous vide that is not just, is this the best way to do it? Well, it doesn't always, the best way is always personal preference, but if you can take and use these cooking methods and different things and put them together and make something completely different, it's, how can it not be good, right?
That's right.
It takes longer to develop a cooking parameters to your test, but when you get it, you want to get it all the time. That sometimes you get with a high heat or something, you have different of temperature or something. Oh, last time it was a bit juicy, or this one is whatever. But here, when you develop something, it takes time. finding the right time. We'll test a 12 hour, 13 hour, 15 hours, 16, every, the meat from France or from Australia or America, they don't cook the same. They're not being raised the same. The breed is different. The age of the cow, do they eat grass fed? Do they eat corn fed? And that's what sometimes people don't understand. They're like, oh, give me a time and temperature. I'm like, okay, I can give you something basic, but I can assure you 90% of the time is not going to be perfect. I don't know your raw material. I remember some chef was telling me, well, I tried Thomas Keller's cooking time is a wrong one. And I know Thomas Keller, he has a lot of integrity. He put exactly what it was for his food, his raw material. And then when you start explaining that, it's like, oh, okay, I get it. I'm like, give it to me. I'll give you a time. And you said, Gerard, you didn't give me the right time. It didn't work. So you really have to choose the same raw material, and you have to understand, the same muscle from a different cow, different age, different feeding. You're going to have completely different time. Even the muscle, sometimes you say, oh, at 56, that's give you this color. No, you have some muscle who have more, different color when you look at it. You have some muscle who are much more pale. So you cook them at 56 or 58, and they look like you cook them at 65 because they are so pale. And it's all those things. And that's a point I wanted to bring before at Crea, when people say, oh, great, I'm going to get all the time and temperature. And we said, no. They said, what do you mean? I'm paying all this money. You're not going to give me the time. I said, no, we're going to teach you, for your test, we're going to show you what kind of temperature and time, what does to the product. And it's up to you to choose.
Yeah.
And it's like writing music. Do you want, like you said earlier, don't show me how to do it. Don't teach me how to play a song. Teach me how to write my own song and my own music. And that's what we do at Crea. We really go much farther, say, here's all the components, all the different elements is going to help you. But the way I'm going to cook a mussel, you or AJ, we can choose. I like mine really rare. You might say, no, I like something more braised. And you have much more choice with sous vide to develop what you like, depending on your background, depending on where you grew up, depending what ingredient you use. It's so much more fun and much more present. And I want to add also, we have John Taffer, is part of it.
Good.
And you see him on TV pretty, and it's he has a really good point to bring to the discussion about sous vide, and he's pretty new to it because a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, he didn't know almost nothing about sous vide. So you can see from here to that he has some really good points.
Yeah, I'm the same way. 3 years ago, I didn't know what sous vide was, but I threw myself into it. And having great teachers like, AJ and Jason and a lot of the other people, even with Meathead, we put our heads together a lot. But I tell people this all the time, and this is one of the reasons why I like Jason Logston's Times and Temps online. It's a range. The times and temps is a range, and within those ranges, you can find your personal best. So for medium rare, it's 130 to 137, anywhere in between there. For a certain piece of meat, it could be 2 hours or 4 hours, depending on the tenderness you want. I always try to tell people it's adjustable, but with sous vide, you have so many different, combinations that can, personally you can take and it could be your personal best, but it could be totally different than the guy sitting next to you, so use those ranges, and within that range, you find the one that's perfect for you.
You're absolutely right. I think a common misunderstanding about sous vide is a lot of people describe it just as low temperature cooking, but it's not really just low temperature cooking. It's precise temperature cooking. So when we do the training, it's not just you're getting times and temperatures like a chart that's going to work for every single product. Like Gerard was mentioning, unless your raw product is exactly the same season, density, thickness, unless it's exactly the same as the recipe that you're following, it can vary. So that's why in the course too, we teach monitoring core temperature as well, which understandably, not a lot of people do at home, nor would they have the tools for it, but it really is important, and it's what professional chefs do. Of course, it's what we do in manufacturing as well. But it's not just low temperature cooking. There's different ways that you can do the cooking. We do 3 different methods in the course. We always are probing the core of at least 1 pouch out of each batch, and also are showing you the safe way to do it. And every single category of food that we train in really delve into the scientific theory behind it and explain what happens at different temperatures with the meats, depending on the color of the muscle and all of those elements that Gerard was describing as well.
Well, I, for one, can't wait to participate in International Sous Vide Day. I know it's going to be great. Everybody, make sure you at least pull it up, register. That way, even if you can't join in on Tuesday, you can go back for up to 60 days and watch them. InternationalSousVideDay.com. Also, check out lacrea.com and cuisinesolutions.com if you want to find out more about those. AJ and Gerard, I really appreciate you guys being on. Is there anything else you wanted to touch on before we
No, thank you for having us. I mean, if people join International Sous Vide Day, they learn a ton. And it's always good to you can hear a lot of things from us, but when you hear people from different part of the industry saying how it helped them, it's pretty pretty educational this day.
Yep.
Definitely. Well, I appreciate you guys being on. I know you got another show to go do, and really, really thank you for being on it. And I can't wait to participate. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Pleasure as always. Thank you.
Hopefully, I'll have you guys on again soon.
Sounds good to us.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care.
Well, thanks again for joining the Fire and Water Cooking Podcast. I want to thank AJ and Gerard for being on once again. Make sure you check out InternationalSousVideDay.com to register so you can participate in all those festivities. Make sure you check out fireandwatercooking.com. You can find all my podcasts, YouTube videos. You can find a copy of my Fire and Water Cooking Cookbook as well. And make sure you check out lacrea.com and cuisinesolutions.com as well. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you on the next Fire and Water Cooking Podcast.